on the side of
territory.
Or am I
So,
many political leaders,
The mountains and
justice? Or am I on the side of injustice?
their name.
people,
They are thieves. They are
workers are free, masses are free. Everybody is free here. It is the state of masses.
really?
All right?
Oui. Nous pouvons dépasser même notre position. Malheureusement, to call upon the powers of the world. Par manque d'organisation.
Never, and never again, shall it be that this beautiful earth will attain the spirit of oppression of one or another.
You have to take sides.
Today is March 6th, a day every Ghanaian holds dear. On this day in 1957, Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule. But this moment did not happen overnight. It was the result of decades of struggle, courage, and unity.
From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. I want you all, those who have hats on, to take off your hats and let the band play our national anthem. And from now on, that national anthem is the national anthem of the Congo to be played on all occasions.
To understand the freedom we celebrate today, we must go back and look at how Ghana earned its independence.
We begin in West Africa.
For over a century, the Gold Coast, now Ghana, was under British colonial rule. The British controlled the economy, the land, and politics. While the country was rich in gold, cocoa, and other resources, ordinary Ghanaians had very little say in how their nation was governed. Yet, even under colonial rule, the desire for freedom never faded. In the early 1900s, the first nationalist movements began. The Aborigines Rights Protection Society, formed in 1897, fought against unfair colonial land policies. Later, in 1947, the United Gold Coast Convention, or UGCC, was formed to demand self-government. These groups laid the foundation for mass political action and gave Ghanaians hope that independence was possible. In 1947, a young and ambitious leader named Kwame Nkrumah returned from studying abroad in the United States and the United Kingdom. He joined the UGCC as General Secretary, but disagreed with their slow approach. Determined to push for immediate freedom, Nkrumah broke away and, in 1949, founded the Convention People's Party, or CPP.
For independence, and won independence for this country. It was under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah and the CPP that we got independence. So, that is, to start with, the most important thing which the CPP had brought to this country. We won independence for this country. We had the motto, self-government now, as against the motto of the UGCC, we said self-government in the shortest possible time,
With a bold slogan, self-government now. He believed that the destiny of the people of the Gold Coast should be in their own hands. Tensions came to a head in February 1948. World War II veterans marched in Accra to demand unpaid allowances. The protests escalated into riots, and the British responded with harsh crackdowns. Several nationalist leaders were arrested. But this event, now known as the Accra riots, united the people behind Nkrumah and the CPP. The demand for independence grew stronger than ever. the CPP organized strikes, protests, and civil disobedience campaigns across the country. Nkrumah himself was arrested in 1950 for leading these movements, but instead of weakening the cause, it strengthened his popularity and that of the party.
His arrest did not in any way dampen enthusiasm within the party that he had founded, largely because some of the activists remained outside the prison wall.
The people began to see Nkrumah as the leader who could guide them to freedom. In 1951, the British allowed the first general elections in the Gold Coast. The CPP won overwhelmingly, and Nkrumah became the leader of government business, giving Ghanaians a greater voice in governing their country. This was a major step towards self-rule and demonstrated that Ghanaians could organize and manage their own affairs. Over the next few years, the CPP continued to push for full independence. Elections in 1954 gave Nkrumah and the CPP an even larger majority, and constitutional reforms gradually transferred more power to local leaders. By 1956, a nationwide referendum confirmed that the people wanted complete independence. The message was clear: the Gold Coast would no longer be under colonial rule. And then the historic day arrived. On March 6, 1957, the Gold Coast officially became the independent nation of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah became the first Prime Minister and later the country's first president. The nation rejoiced as the Ghanaian flag was raised, signaling the birth of a free country. Ghana had finally claimed its freedom. Ghana's independence was more than a political achievement. It was a symbol of hope for Africa, inspiring other nations to pursue their own freedom. It also reminded Ghanaians that independence comes with responsibility to build, to grow, and to uphold the values for which so many had struggled. Today, on March 6th, we celebrate not just a date, but the courage, unity, and determination that made Ghana free. We honor the visionaries, the leaders, and every citizen who fought for the nation's independence. Kwame Nkrumah's struggle for freedom did not mark an end. It created a precedent, a foothold on which everything else was meant to stand. Too often, we treat the acquisition of independence as the final destination. I do not believe that was his vision. Independence was the starting point. The responsibility that followed is ours. March 6th should not only be a celebration, but a moment of reflection. A day to consider where we began, what we have built since, and where we are deliberately choosing to go. And I believe Kwame Nkrumah understood how high the ceiling truly was. He did not mistake freedom for the finish line. He set it as the foundation. Independence was the motion he put us in. Rising above it, together, as a nation, is the dream.
If you've made it this far, it means something in this story reached you. This project didn't come from a trend. It didn't come from a script written to perform well. It came from curiosity that turned into obsession, an obsession that turned into purpose. I'm deeply passionate about African history, not just the victories, but the ideas, the visions, the moments that were never finished. What you've just watched is only the beginning. I have plans far bigger than a single video. Documentaries, series, stories told with depth and intention. Stories that don't just inform, but shape how we see ourselves. To build this properly, I need scale. Not overnight success, but a foundation strong enough to stand on. My first milestone is 500,000 followers. That's the point where this stops being something I fit around life and becomes something I dedicate myself fully to. So if you believe these stories matter, if you believe the next generation deserves more than fragments, if you felt even a moment of connection watching this, then subscribe. Not for me, but for what this can become. This is only the beginning.